And then with that idea, that led to being going to some licensing with some Doctor Who memorabilia. Of course, here in the United States, that's in England. The show has been around for over 50 years. Here in the United States, we're just now starting to gain popularity in the past couple of years. And you guys started off with the most recent Doctor, the 11th Doctor, and that Sonic Screwdriver. And that has been quite a success.
Yes, it has. Well, it has a great success, in fact. Well, once you've done something like that, and we were very successful, there was 3 of us in the company at that time when we made the wand. In the UK, it got a lot of press. Specifically, there's a newspaper we have given away free on the subway here in the UK, in London, called Metro. And that we got a full page article in that magazine, and as a result of that, I think some TV researchers must have read that article, and we were contacted by the BBC to appear on a program called Dragon's Den. Now, Dragon's Den in the US, I think it's called Shark Tank. I don't know how successful that's been in the US, but in the UK, Dragon's Den has survived for about 9 seasons or 10 seasons. Oh, wow. And we were about the 6th season, and we were asked to pitch our idea to as in the Shark Tank, to a number of entrepreneurs on television. And ours was a very successful pitch. We got offers of money from all of the dragons. And as a result of that, we got a lot of fame, sort of credence in the UK, a lot of press. And we started to sell our wands very successfully. Of course, around the world they were selling, and we started to sell a lot in the US and also in Japan. In fact, the US became our biggest market, and we got a bit of a war chest of cash, which allowed us to consider doing a license as a next product. Having been a bit involved with the BBC, we approached them because we felt that the Doctor Who gadget, which is called a sonic screwdriver, is effectively a sort of science fiction modern day wand. He waves it about at various things, and it seems to always magically get him out of a little pickle that he might have got into, open a door, or give him some readings or whatever, or control things. And we felt that it's like a modern day wand, and our technology is perfectly suited to going inside it, and thereby being able to create the world's first real working sonic screwdriver. We approached the BBC, and they said to us, we've been wanting to do one of these for years, so it'd be great to have a license, and we could afford to buy a license. I don't know whether your listeners would know, but if you want to make a licensed product, you have to approach the person or the company that has that product and has the rights to it, and then you have to pay them a considerable amount of money, and then they give you a license for a number of years, maybe 1, 2, or 3 years, to make your product. Now, with a thing like a sonic screwdriver or a wand, of course, there's an enormous amount of cost involved in making the tooling for it. Can be hundreds of thousands of dollars. So in order for that to work, you have to sell quite a few of them. Otherwise, you're going to make a loss. Doctor Who has become very successful in the US. And in fact, now, after just a few years of trading, the US is our biggest market. And people love it. The 11th Sonic Screwdriver, 11th Doctor's Sonic Screwdriver, has done very well. We decided right at the beginning to make a very quality product in using die-cast metal, different materials like rubber for the grip, and a lovely ceramic-looking hardened and lacquered plastic for the handle. Unlike other ones that have been made, which were basically in plastic and just been spray painted. So we made a high-quality product. We knew it was going to be a bit more expensive than the average sort of toy sonic screwdriver. In fact, our one's about $100. But people want quality, and it's been very successful in the US and in fact around the world, which led us on to thinking, we got so many requests from other fans saying, please make a 10th Doctor's sonic screwdriver. I think if you guys in the US are just getting into Doctor Who, you'll have the most current Doctor Who, well actually he's just about to leave now, but the 11th one, Matt Smith, everyone liked. But if you then look at the back catalogue, everyone's favourite Doctor, David Tennant, suddenly comes to the fore, and he had a much smaller, more pocketable sonic screwdriver gadget. I guess every time they regenerate the new Doctor, they they regenerated his sonic screwdriver as well. Great for business. I don't know if your listeners will know, but of course with Doctor Who, it's a great idea. It's been going, as you said, for 50 years. In fact, this year is the 50th anniversary. And they came up with a very good idea, was that as an immortal, every few years he basically dies and gets regenerated into a new body, which means that from an actor's point of view, they can cycle the actors round without having to worry about the storyline, because they just get a new person every 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years. And at that time, obviously his gadgets, his TARDIS, which is his time machine, and his sonic screwdriver can get a bit of a revamp or change. So as it happened, between the 10th and the 11th, the sonic screwdriver changed quite dramatically. Between the 9th and 10th, it didn't really change at all. But I think that it's quite likely that between the latest Doctor, the 11th, and the new one just about to come, the 12th, things will change again, and he'll have a new sonic screwdriver. So hopefully we'll be thinking about making a 12th Doctor sonic screwdriver very shortly.
And well, that would be good to see. But also, you guys are you've currently got the 10th Doctor screwdriver out, and well, it's actually about ready to be released. Can you kind of tell us a little bit more about the development of that?
I can actually. The 11th Doctor sonic screwdriver is quite a large piece of equipment. It's made in metal, which means inside it's reasonably small, and it was a challenge getting the things we wanted to get in there. But the 10th Doctor sonic screwdriver is another kettle of fish altogether. It's very much smaller. It's the actual real prop is only really a little bit bigger than a large fountain pen, and we had to fit inside that the gesture-based remote control gadgetry, a battery, the remote control itself, and a computer chip, and of course all the things to send the IR beam out, and a speaker to make the noises. So it was a real challenge, and for a while we didn't think it was going to be possible for us to do it at a sensible price. But we went to an electronics fair and saw some very, very small batteries, and we realized that we could use a rechargeable battery and change our approach and really crush down the components onto the circuit board. As I said before, when you're making these things, if you're tooling up, we can't use particularly exotic electronics that you can use in, say, mobile phones, because we're not making hundreds of thousands of units. We're making just tens of thousands of units. So we have to work with the components that are out there, and some of them aren't as small as that we would like them to be. Nevertheless, we came up with an idea of how to make it. We also, for the 11th Doctor sonic screwdriver, we made a decision quite early on that, unlike the one in the show, our one would not extend, because the extending action takes up even more space of the inside, takes it away from the electronics, which we needed. But for the 10th Doctor sonic screwdriver, we realised that the extending action of it was actually a major part of the design. I mean, an absolute, almost, if we were going to do it at all, we had to have it extending, because it has different components that show when it's extended. And that meant making our electronics and our battery even smaller. So it has been a real great challenge, and the product itself although it has a plastic body, the bulk of the components are made from CNC machined aerospace grade aluminium, which was a challenge to get them to fit with the molded components. The molding on the real Doctor's screwdriver, the actual prop that was used in the show, they created what looked like a sort of cracked glazed effect by paint, using different layers of paint. And then naturally, for each of the props they made, the surface finish was slightly different. Well, as it happens, there's only one remaining prop known to be in existence. And David Tennant, the actor, actually has that in a private collection that he was given it by the BBC when he left. And we asked the BBC if we could borrow that prop so that we could copy it. Well, they were unable to get hold of it. So my colleague Richard Blakesley, who doesn't know anything about the word no, contacted David Tennant's agent and asked very politely if we could borrow that sonic screwdriver from him, and then make some very accurate measurements, scan it, take loads of photographs of it, so that we could make our prop a real replica. I mean, unbelievably to me, he got he got the word yes, and yes, you can come and collect it tomorrow. We went to collect the sample, the product from the prop, as it were, from David Tennant, and then took hundreds of photographs of it and actually stitched the photographs together so that we could trace the exact crackle glaze pattern on that one and reproduce it in the mold. So with the hope that our product would be one of the most accurate replicas ever made of the prop. And I have to say that the finished thing is looking very, very good. It feels nice in the hand. It feels exactly like the original prop, which we've held, of course. And I'm hoping for great things from it in terms of, people being excited about it when they buy it. It certainly seems, as we've released photographs and things, to have captured people's imagination.
And your company just recently handed one of the first production models of it to David Tennant, didn't you?
We did, actually, yes. David Tennant's a very private guy, and he's busy working on other things. He did a couple of shows since Doctor Who. He's currently in a play in Stratford-upon-Avon as Richard III, and so it's very hard to get hold of him. But he had agreed to come to the British Film Institute's screening of the 10th Doctor's month celebrations in the UK, because this year, each month, the British Film Institute is celebrating one of the Doctors, building up to the 11th Doctor in the 11th month. And he agreed very kindly as part of that to meet with us. And when we borrowed the Sonic Screwdriver from him, we did promise that we would give him the first ever production item of the Sonic Screwdriver. And we were able to meet him and shake his hand and take a photograph and stuff like that. These guys are very busy normally, and it was a real privilege to meet him. He's a lovely chap, actually, and I'm sure if he didn't have a case-hardened agent behind him, he would be doing lots more of those types of things. But of course, you have to battle your way through the agent these days.
Yeah. Well, and of course, with the new product coming out, and it's going to be hitting online stores here within the next week or 2 weeks. Can you talk about some of that?
Yes. Well, when you start with a new product, of course, you're first starting with production. Ideally, what you'd like to have is a load of production come through, and then a couple of months where you look through all your production and you were able to refine any last hiccups in the production. But everyone is so desperate to get this, and we are in the 10th month, that we are rushing it through. So what's happened is we've had production running, and each week the output of the production will be air freighted over to the various retailers. In the US, we have 2 retailers who are exclusive for the whole rest of the year. One of those is thinkgeek.com, and the other is the BBC shop. And if you've pre-ordered, I think that stock's coming online in the next few days for the first people who pre-ordered, but it still won't be showing as in stock. And then subsequently, in the middle of October, stock will be flowing into those out channels. Pre-orders will be all dealt with, and then hopefully by mid to end October, stock will be flowing freely into the retailers, depending on demand, obviously, for you to go and buy it directly from either thinkgeek.com or BBC America shop. But as you will appreciate, getting a new product into the market is always a challenge, because if you've got to gauge demand accurately, and then you've got to try and meet that demand, which can be tricky. But I'm pretty certain that the production will be flowing quite smoothly in the next few weeks.
All right. And then if anybody wants to find out, of course, where they can buy, either in the US or the UK, they can go to your website, which you can get that.
Yeah, they can. If they go to our website and look at, I think there's a button on there, or you dial a little wheel and it goes around to retail or sales or something, you'll see that the retailers that have exclusive for the first couple of months, definitely. And if you click their links there, go straight through to those retailers' websites, and I'm pretty sure they go through to the page where you can pre-order or buy the 10th Sonic. And also on our website is information about the 11th Sonic Screwdriver and, of course, the Chimera Wand still.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time, Chris. I appreciate you spending some time with us today.
It's been a pleasure, Terry. Thank you very much for having me on your show.